Next we have with us today Reverend Jeff Miller. Pastor Miller, I first met at a Father's Day, my first Father's Day chicken barbecue and worship service there in the park, and he's filled in for me a couple times too, so I've gotten to meet him a couple times.
How many of you know how we know the average height of men over the past century? Any idea? I want that she's heard me tell this story. Because of uniforms that were created for men during World War I and World War II. Average man in World War I was about 5'5". The average man in World War II was about 5'7". And when I came along, my generation was a little taller. I was 6 feet. And my sister always laughed because I could hit my head on everything. When I come to Hollandale Lutheran Church and get ready for worship, I go down in the basement, and one of my distinct memories of going down those stairs and almost hitting the top of the head. There was a little padding back then, almost hitting my head. And it reminded me that that congregation was built by farmers who put their hearts and lives into that church, and it was built the way they needed it to be built. And I could appreciate that because that's what my dad would have done. One of the things that made me proudest of Hollandale is that they had the foresight to become part of the Pecatonica Lutheran Parish back at a time when it wasn't so easy to imagine being part of the Four Point Parish. And I realized my connection to this place was not the same as a resident pastor was, but it was part of what needed to be done at that time and place. I'm immensely more proud that without a pastor around, you and the people who entered the Lutheran Church had the foresight to serve God by reaching out in ministry as New Hope Lutheran Church. That takes courage. That's a farmer doing his job the way it needs to be done at the time, in the place that he is right now. Lots of wonderful memories that come from here. And I remember Debbie playing the organ and the wind coming in the windows and blowing all the music away, and she just keeps playing all the feast and celebration, and everybody kind of, how did that happen? Well, that's the way she is with music. I remember the things I learned from the thing from David Branfus reminded me, the generosity and perhaps overabundance of food. When they had a Norwegian supper here at Blanchardville Lutheran, you got a nice little layer of vermigrut and put your brown sugar and butter on it, and that was good. And then I came here and they served the dish this thick. And I'd already eaten 4 or 5 meatballs and a huge amount of mashed potatoes, and it wasn't polite to leave the hermit group. But I forgot all about that till David mentioned that. Lots of wonderful memories, lots of wonderful people. Learning things as a middle-aged pastor I needed to learn. The wisdom of Dwight Massey. Art lessons I did want to learn from Orville. We, at that time, were doing prayers for prayer at the church, and people would speak them from the congregation. And Orville told me, and he'd been sick, and I went out to see him, and he didn't want his name mentioned in prayers. That kind of disturbed me, and Orville was convinced the good Lord knew his every need, and he didn't need anybody to remind him. And that's not how I looked at it, but you know what? Sometimes you just don't argue with some sage wisdom. And there's a lot of sage wisdom to be mined here. It's my hope and prayer that that kind of down-home farm wisdom continues on into the future. I was not one of those pastors who had a building project everywhere they went. Although when I went to Blanchardville a year later, they put up a great big building project. It had all been done while they were without a pastor. Well, guess what? I got to thinking, and Hollandale put on that huge front, and they went ahead and they did it, and they kind of did it with me tagging along. There was that kind of wisdom and foresight and do-it-yourselfness that made me proud. And for the privilege of being part of that, I'm always grateful. And it's my prayer that that kind of wisdom and insight and practicalness and commitment to ministry in a real and positive way into the future will continue to bless this congregation and New Hope Lutheran Church. I should mention, my sons grew up here. It was only 8 years, but it was right while they were in grade school and high school, so they see this at home. My oldest son, Mark, is now a Roman Catholic priest, and although he's been in an academic setting all his life, he's very pleased that he just took a call to a 4-point rural parish in Partyville, Wisconsin, because that's kind of how he sees his life finding meaning. And my youngest son, Scott, is married and they live in California. I wasn't sure I'd be here until just a short time ago because they just came home for a 2.5-week period. But as all your kids do, they come home and then they took off to see other people. So I appreciate the opportunity to be with you here tonight and wish you God's blessings as you look forward to the next 125 years in your journey of faith. Thank you.